What is going on, everyone? Weekly recap number 73. I am Jake Dunlap, CEO of Scaled. This week, we actually are getting a little silly with the whole weekly recap format. Every day, every week, I get tens, hundreds of questions around sales strategy. So this week is 100% hashtag Ask Jake Anything, right? We literally are trying to answer every single one of these, whether it's I'm trying to DM you, we're doing it live here. If you have sales, marketing related questions, where's the industry going, you can always use hashtag Ask Jake Anything. But let's get to it. So what we've done is we've tried to break this into a few different sections around hiring, strategy, a whole bunch of different stuff. So the first section we're gonna call sales strategy. My man, Chris Walker, what's up? Why do you think people aren't prepping? This is in response to posts about prepping for meetings. I think it is a hubris that many people, once they've ran like 10, 20 sales meetings, they're like, yeah, I know. Right? Our brain tends to like to stereotype things. We're like, oh yeah, I've been in this situation before. And then you wonder why you get punched in the mouth whenever you hear an objection. You wonder why when someone's like, well, I didn't think about that. And you're like, well, yeah, because you didn't prepare your list of questions. Whereas for me, I'm a prep monster. If I've got a big meeting coming up, I'm trying to get to my V1 of whatever that meeting is a week in advance. Most people only ever get to 80% because they don't prep. If you get to 80% really early, then I can get that shit to like 95%. Kai Shaw, what kind of success have you seen building out RevOps teams? So first, let's define RevOps for all my friends out there. Revenue operations is a group of individuals, usually like ex-consultants or people who came from some Ivy League school, who are looking at the revenue operations of your team end to end. What are the break points? Where are things falling off? You know, think of this like the funnel, like ninjas looking at what's happening. And so for me, a RevOps team is absolutely critical as you scaled. So you have one person who can look at the very beginning to the very end, everything from the very first touch point in marketing to they churn for a customer. So RevOps to me, double down on that. Once you get to like probably like 20, 30 people in your sales org, it can make a big difference. Next, Chris Watson. What are the most important questions that a prospect needs answered before they consider purchasing a product or service? Why me? Why now? Why you? My man John Barris has got a framework around this, but I think it's like universal, right? It's why do they need to do this right now, right? What's the compelling event? Why should they make an investment now, right? Versus I can wait, etc. Like why you, right? Why should I pick you? How do you stand out? How are you different, right? And then why me? Like what's in it for me as an individual, not just a company? I think if you can just answer those three questions, and then maybe a fourth is like what happens on implementation. A lot of the reasons that your deals might ghost is that people get nervous about what happens after they buy. So if you're not walking people through that, they might get behind a closed door and say, hey, are you gonna implement this? Are you gonna implement this? And then they're like, no. So let's delay for like the next quarter. Kevin Mulrain. Kevin, what's going on, man? Considering how buyers are evolving, what are the best ways to bridge the sales and marketing gap and create better alignment? To me, there's really a very simple answer. Marketing and sales have to mostly be compensated on the exact same thing, which is either late stage pipeline or revenue. Anything other than that will continue to create a divide. So if marketing and sales aren't aligned on sales being the outcome, right? Now, I'm not saying that all marketing should be judged on that. Again, I love brand, I love creativity. But if you're talking about how to create better alignment between the two, focus the numbers on revenue.
All right, so our next topic is tech. Sam Best asks, Jake, what would you say your top sales weapons are in this space today? If you could build out the ideal sales tech stack, what would it be?
Step one is you have to have clean data, a way to utilize that data to engage with people in an effective manner, and a way to understand what happened when you took the actions that you took, right? So I need to have a clean database. I need to have a way to interact with people, a way to track that, to understand when I took that action, what happened. So therefore, I'm going Discover Org, Zoom Info for data. I'm going Outreach and Salesloft for middle funnel, for sales engagement. And for reporting, my friends, there are a million tools out there. I really like what Collective Eye is doing, which is kind of aggregating some information from other companies. I like what People.ai is doing. I like what Insight Squared is doing. Aviso, Clary. My big piece is more than anything is make sure you have a way to track the actions that you took, right? Because at the end of the day, that's how I want to optimize, right? Did I have the right data? Is that where things broke? Let me fix that. Did I take these actions and then what happened? And then like what actually led to a deal getting done? So make sure that you're thinking kind of full funnel and kind of the full loop when you're looking at your tech stack. There's a million more. Gong, I think, is amazing for coaching. Exec Vision also up there, Chorus. But I think that if you said, Jake, those three, and then maybe Sales Nav for lead gen is a must-have.
All right, next up, Amy Volas asks, Jake, what's the biggest opportunity for tech that you see salespeople getting bogged down with?
This is a great question, Amy, as usual. Amy always has great content. Go check out Amy on LinkedIn as well too. The biggest thing to understand is tech is supposed to work for you, not do your job for you. And I think too many people are looking at technology to like automate the work. And technology is going to automate like the follow-up and the remembering and things like that, but you still have to push your creativity into the technology. You have to think, you have to look at like, why am I doing it this way? Like, did it work? Did it not work? Etc. And so to me, the biggest opportunity for tech is all these tools to me, and we're only going to have more tools. You have to understand that they have a role, and their role is not to do the job for you. Send all is not an option. The same way if you're automating follow-up with someone after you've ran a meeting, that's not the option. They're placeholders.
All right, our next topic is sales tactics. Max Hard asks, what are the fundamental differences and/or things to be aware of in selling a piece of software versus service? To keep it simple, if you're selling into the same account, what things do you need to do differently to close the deal? So example, Jake is selling accounting software to company X, while Max is selling consulting services to company X.
I think this is a great question. Candidly, Max, the solutions aren't that different, meaning no matter what, there has to be a compelling reason to move forward. There has to be something that's happening in the business for someone to want to move forward. That's universal, right? That person as an individual has to feel like you understand their challenge and that you've got a plan to help them to actually go live and actually take care of like their implementation to make sure that they are successful once they actually do go live, whether it's consulting or services. So the only issue with a services company is you have to service it with people. And so usually it's actually, I don't think there's actually that much difference on the front end of the funnel. To me, it's more about how you handle fulfillment that's more different than anything. A good sales process is a good sales process and has a lot of those key elements about a good discovery, pivoting how you think about the world, making sure you're driving momentum. All of that is the exact same.
How do you put urgency when following up with prospects via text?
I love that question. Text is the easiest thing to ignore. We're so used to hitting archive, right? So to me, the key thing is to, one, I would try to not just use text. I'm a big fan of using video. If someone goes dark or you're trying to get someone, send them a personalized video. I love that as an option. There's a company, Videolicious, that's out there doing it, Vidyard, there's a few others. You can do it actually in LinkedIn if you're a first degree connection. So step one is I would send more videos if you're gonna try to really drive urgency to give more color. If not, the key is, again, it goes back to the basics. If you don't have a compelling event to tie it back to and a way to remind them of why it's important now, you're gonna be struggling. Hey, Courtney, you said that this needs to be done by then for us to then do this. What's changed? And kind of put that on them.
Okay, last sales tactic question also came via Instagram from @CooperBags. Cooper asked, hey Jake, what's your preferred method or strategy when conducting a cold call with the intent of securing a meeting?
This is a fantastic question. I've kind of lived my life by some very specific principles. One, people like to see themselves in the mirror, right? So for me, I always have prepared for whatever that company is. And just over time, I just gotten faster and faster getting up to speed on what companies actually do, like how they make money. Who have we worked with that's very similar to them? And that means like sub-industry, not manufacturing, but like industrial manufacturing. Then similar size. If you're mentioning a software company like Facebook and I'm like a small, like 100-person software company, I don't really care what Facebook's doing, right? So similar industries, similar size, and then geolocation whenever possible. So I work with other industrial manufacturing organizations in the Pacific Northwest in blah, 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 like about your size to help with this problem that I know that that job has. If I have those four things, their sub-industry, similar employee size, location, and pain points within the job I'm calling into, that's all I need. Right? So again, I know this, look, you're not those people, but I know this about your space. We should set up time to meet. I know your problems, we should meet. So that is my go-to top four. Amy, quick. What inspires the passion behind what you do day in and day out? The key is aligning what you do and being very honest with yourself about what you're good at and what you're not good at. For me, I can tell, like, as our company has grown, there's things that I've done because I had to, right? As the company's growing, et cetera, as a CEO, I've got to do a lot of everything. But what I've continued to realize is like the things I'm either not particularly great at or the things that just are a mental drain on me that somebody else might be better suited to do. So I think a big piece is, continue to be very honest with yourself about what you're passionate about or not what you can do, right? I see a lot of people who say like, oh no, I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. And then they wonder why they're burnt out or they wonder why, they're not as successful. All right, my friends, this was a good, meaty weekly recap number 73. We do this every week, so make sure you tag your questions, #AskJakeAnything. I love the questions. And again, what I'd love to hear from you in the comments, which question or which answer stood out to you most? What was the biggest takeaway that you have from this? And share it with your friends. Weekly recap number 73, I'm out.